It's kind of crazy. 10 years ago, this all started right here at the San Diego airport. Brooklyn, it is October 17th, 2023, the day before your 13th birthday, which is really cool. Say goodbye to your childhood. It's time for the teenage years. Hey, it's me. Do you remember that time that I flew to San Diego and left back for Utah a few days later after meeting you? On the flight home, I was just trying to make sense of all the emotions I was feeling, and I honestly never thought that it would lead me to here. I remember feeling so excited about how much I liked your mom. But it wasn't just her, there was also you. The most beautiful, and not to mention smartest 3-year-old that I'd ever met. While I was there, we went to SeaWorld for your 3rd birthday. I remember I wanted to pick you up and hold you so bad, but I didn't think it was appropriate. Your mom asked me to so that you could see better. I picked you up, and I knew I loved you. It was a small moment, but a massive one at the same time. And I've hung on to that moment for years. To you, it's a moment in time that's been stolen from your memory, just like all toddlers. But to me, it's a representation of the start of our lives together. A lifetime of watching you grow, the joys and pains of life. I've watched all of your days, the good ones, the bad ones, the really bad ones. But no matter how selfish I've been with my time, wanting to live for me, you and your mom had a way of just clearing my path, capturing my heart, and bringing me back to the ground. We're all faced with decisions. Some are small, some are massive. And in your teenage years, some require a little skip, while others, you'll need to jump as far as you can, with no promise of making it to the other side. But I'm here with you, the net where you can always land. So this, a massive portion of my life, this video, all of this is for you. Think of my favorite moments in life or my future plans, you're there, in my head, reminding me how beautiful this life is, and encouraging me to keep going. I love you. As exciting and painful as it is for me to say, to acknowledge, you're turning 13 today. Here are 13 things I want you to know going into your teenage years. I'm here at the Towers, one of our secret spots, and I wanted to come here to give you 13 things that I want you to know going into your 13th year of life. Starting with the first one, your friendships are going to come and go. Sometimes it feels like your friends are always going to be there and they're the most important thing in your life. But the truth of the matter is your friends are going to come and go. There's going to be a time in life where your friends are no longer around a whole lot, but your family will always be there. If you keep your family close and you show them the respect and love that they deserve, they're always going to be there as your support structure for you. Friends can sometimes feel like family. For example, Colton's been a big part of my life, but I maybe see him like once or twice every couple months now, but I get to see my family every single day, and that's something really special. So make sure you're there for your family, make sure you love them, respect them, and make them feel wanted in your life. The second thing I want you to know going into your 13th year of life is that your teenage years are going to be a beautiful and chaotic mix of amazing moments and absolutely terrible moments that kind of feel like you're walking through your own little hell a little bit. But if you let Mom and I into your life and you let us hold your hand and walk beside you through that hell, you don't have to do it alone. I think a lot of times teenagers feel like they need to do everything themselves and they need to keep everything private, but it's just not the case. And, you know, Mom and I are 100% willing to go through your own hell with you if you allow us to. Number 3, your self-worth is not determined by your body. It's not determined by the makeup you wear, the clothes you wear, how you look. Using your body for attention is something that any female can do. Your self-worth and dignity are worth so much more than the attention from boys. Number 4, be true to who you are. Always be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Stand up for who you are and what you believe in, and always Don't be afraid to speak up if you feel like it's necessary. Number 5, and what I think is one of the most important lessons that I can teach you going into your teenage years, is that you absolutely have the right to say no with no explanation anytime that you see fit, especially when it comes to boys, especially when it comes to drugs, alcohol. You have the ability to say no, and if people don't respect that, then they're not your people. Number 6, don't forget to always strive to be a positive influence in your life and everybody else's life. But I think it's also important to remember, especially through your teenage years, that it's okay to not feel happy sometimes. We're all human. Being human means that you're gonna have a range of emotions, especially through these years. And so always strive for happiness, strive for positivity, but understand that you don't have to be happy all the time. But the more you can, obviously, the happier your life's gonna be. Number 7 is never forget that you're so loved. As a teenager, I think sometimes it's normal to feel like we're kind of lost and alone in the world because you're going through so many changes and new experiences. But people do love you, and people are there for you, and you are never alone. Number 8, don't forget to slow down. Sometimes in life, especially as an adult, and it starts in teenagerhood, it just gets so busy, too busy. And sometimes you actually have to make the time to slow down and enjoy the things that are around you. And nature can be such a wonderful therapy, especially the mountains. Music also is a wonderful therapy that you can use to just kind of slow down and be in the moment. Or you can double down and listen to music in nature. Number 9, arguably one of the most important on here as well. Be so careful with the selection of your friends, because they will guide your life. More often than not, your friends are guiding the direction that your life is going. And trust your gut kind of goes in with that same one. If you're with friends and something doesn't feel right, kind of going back to, you can say no, get out of there. You can always leave. You are in charge of your life, but your friends will guide it. So be so super careful with the selection of your friends, because they can make or break the direction that your life is going. I know this is a long time away, or at least it better be. It better be. It better be. But when it comes down to love and loving somebody physically, hold yourself to a very high standard. You are an amazing and beautiful young girl, and you deserve the world, and you deserve a certain level of human being, not somebody that's going to treat you in a way that they shouldn't disrespect you. You should hold yourself to a very high regard and expect greatness out of whoever you choose to have as a partner. Number 11, it's no one's job to invite you, and vice versa. And sometimes rejection is life's protection. Think about that. Number 12 is that you can only control what you can control. And I know I've told you this a million times, but it's so true. Worrying about things that you can't control is insanity. And it's easier said than done, but what's the point? What's the point? Tomorrow will be no different whether you've worried about things or not. So focus on what you can control, and what you can't control, let it be. All right, my 13th thing that I want you to know going into your teenage years, and I wish that I would have known this: life is not always margaritas on the beach. Life is how your mom and dad react when you come home. Life is how Bodhi smiles when you play with him. These little moments that seem so little, they're not that little. Did I steal that from Jordan Peterson? Maybe. But that's beside the point. That's your life. That's your life. Those little moments that are not so little. I wanted to come here to one of my secret spots. Without further ado, here are 13 things that I love about you. Number 1, I love that you share a love of music like me. It's so fun sharing songs that we both enjoy and singing in the car. Just kidding, you don't do that. It's a work in progress, so we're gonna get there. But I love that your Spotify times are like up there with mine. Number 2, I love that we share the tradition of raising our hands up anytime we go over train tracks or a cattle guard or even those steel plates in the road now. We were like, does this count? I don't know. Well, it does. And there's a reason we have such good luck. It's because of that. carry that into your marriage whenever you get there. 3, I love that you're so open and honest with me. I feel like a lot of kids are not. I know I wasn't with my parents, but now as a parent, it's so cool and special that I feel like you let me into the majority of your life, and I hope that never changes. I think that's what, keeps us so close, is just the open, honest relationship that we have. Number 4 is I love that you care about your brother so much. I love that you care about Bodhi and you spend time with him and you love him and he loves you so much. And that matters a lot to his development growing up. And as a parent, I'm just super, super proud of how you are with him, how you treat him. And I hope that you guys have a relationship forever. Number 5, I love that you get excited when a cool car passes by. Like we're driving down the road in like a Corvette C8 and you like break your neck. You're like, oh, Corvette. And the fact that your favorite car is a Koenigsegg, I guarantee whoever watches this, most people don't even know what that is, but that's your favorite car. I know that, and it's freaking sick. Number 6, I love that you have such good work ethic. The fact that you go and work with your grandpa, the fact that you mow the lawn, the fact that you stayed after school last week to meet with your math teacher and retake a test, get some advice, and I think you took it like 2 or 3 times in order to get a 4.0. Makes me really proud. Number 7, I love that you go out of your way to spend time with me. Like sometimes you choose to hang out with me over your friends, which is kind of mind-blowing to me, but I love it. It's really cool. It's super special to me as a parent, and I love that you do spend time with your friends. You need that to grow, but those times where you actually choose to hang out with me is really sweet. Number 8, I love that we still say goodnight every single night. Every night you say, hey, come down and tell me goodnight, and I love that. I hope that never changes until you're like moved out and married, because that would be really weird, and I'm not going to drive that far, even though I love you. Number 9, I love that you are such a good listener. Like you will just sit there and listen, which is something like I'm not nearly as good as listening as you, but you actually will just sit there and listen to people and let them say what they want to say. Sometimes you listen too good, and then then you just keep ranting like me, but it's a good skill to have. Number 10, I love that you're always down for a last-minute adventure. You've been my Jackson Hole buddy, my Tesla camping buddy. You've been my random, go on an adventure at midnight buddy. And I love that you're always down. Like, you rode on the front of a raft going through the rapids like a freaking bad. Heck yeah. Adventure buddies for life. Number 10, I love that you go on late-night fast food runs with me. That's part of the adventure thing, but all the places Mom won't go. We go and get Big Macs at midnight, the Taco Bell runs. You're just always down to go get food late night because we the fatties, but we don't care, we're happy. 12, I love that you actually will take the rules of the household and run it through your brain and try to understand why. And a lot of times you actually do understand and you go, yeah, I'll probably have that rule with my kids too. So I love that you actually are mature enough to understand and comprehend why things are being put in place the way they are. And lastly, and most important, I just love you. I'm glad that we have such an open and cool relationship and that we trust each other. And I hope that it only grows further because there's always room for improvement. Maybe one of these days you'll actually sing in the car with me and I can hear that pretty voice of yours and just have a good time and not worry about being shy. So yeah, that is 13 things I love about Brooklyn. All right, Brooklyn, we've traveled far and wide up here to Snow Basin to talk about 13 of my favorite memories with you. Starting with number 1, my most favorite memory ever, Oregon, hands down, one of the best times of my entire life. It was so much fun showing you so many places that I went when I was your age and just being in such a beautiful place with such a beautiful girl. And man, we just had fun. It was so much fun, and I feel like that trip meant a lot to you as well as me. Second, and I know you know this is coming, but of course, Jackson Hole, both times, have been an absolute riot. The ropes course is kind of like our little thing, and it always will be. I wouldn't doubt it if you take your kids up there someday. And the first time was super cool watching you on the front of the raft going through the rapids. And last time was fun just Tesla camping with really no plan. And that weird kid that just showed up with all his horses around our car and was like sitting at our picnic table. Like, it was so weird in the moment, but I'm so glad that happened because like now it's a fun memory to look back on. Number 3, And my first memory with you, SeaWorld, I'll never forget. I've told you this story a million times, but I'll never forget being in that display and just thinking you were the cutest little thing on earth. And I wanted to pick you up so bad. And your mom finally asked me to so that you could see, and I was so excited. I'll never forget the way you were like, I do. Every time oh, do you see the penguins? I do. It was the cutest thing ever. So that's one of my favorite memories too. Okay, number 4. Right before you left for Hawaii this year, we went on a date, and I took you to Fernwood, and we were walking around, and we were like balancing on the railing, and there was those random chickens like walking around. There was like 2 chickens just in the mountains, and we were so like dumbfounded, but it was so funny. I'll never forget that. Just random chickens in the mountain. Number 5 would have to be, this is another recent one, but when you were in Hawaii, just the sweet text messages that you sent me to wake up to, and the hug you gave me when I picked you up from the airport. That was just a sweet moment for the both of us, I think. We missed each other. Number 6, ironically, is a hug too. But I'll just never forget how cute it was when we were at the Hotel Park City this year, and we were going to bed, and I gave you a big hug, and you kind of just stood there, and I was like, what? You wanted another hug, and it was just sweet. I'll never forget that. That was adorable. Number 7, this is this year also, but as you know, we got a boat this year, and you had never surfed before. You had no experience surfing. And by the end of the season, we didn't even go that many times, but like you were killing it. You were surfing and holding on with one hand, and that was a really cool dad moment for me. I was so stoked to see you like up and surfing, and you were so excited. Number 8 would have to be the last time that you asked me to lay down with you to fall asleep when you were younger. You had accidentally seen a little bit of It, the clown show, and you came and asked me, and regretfully, I did not feel like it at the time. And Mom was like, well, what if this is the very last time she asks? And it was. So I'm super glad I went down there. Number 9, and the reason I'm here at Snow Basin, is watching you learn to ski a couple years ago. That was really fun for me to include you in something that I grew up doing and watch you progress, and some of the hills you went down. I was pretty impressed, and I'm looking forward to another season of shredding. Number 10, another memory that I love is when we were staying in Dana Point for the month a little over a year ago, and Mom had gone home. It was just you and I staying in the condo for a little bit, and the last night that we were there before we drove back to Utah, we walked down to Doheny State Beach at night and just talked and kind of ran away from the waves, and it was just a lot of fun. It was just one of those times that I feel like we were kind of just lost in the moment, and it was a beautiful evening that I'll never forget. Number 11 was the look on your face when Mom and I told you that you made the Syracuse Junior High cheer team. You were so stoked, and we're super proud of you, by the way. You're kicking butt at cheer. You're getting up early. You're working on your tucks. You're doing the tumbling. It's a lot of work, but you're doing a great job. Number 12. I'll never forget when Greg accidentally got out of the house. Never opened a door before, but he gets out of the house somehow. And I get CPS called on me, and the CPS lady is interviewing you. And I'll never forget, I could hear you guys, and you're on the patio. She's asking you all these like really serious questions. Does your dad, or does Ty hit you? Do they feed you? And all these things. And then you said, well, you've asked me a lot of questions. Now it's time for me to ask you a question. And you dead serious were just like, what do you know about creatures in the forest? And I don't know why, but in that moment, it was the funniest thing on earth. Like, I still crack up about that to this day. Number 12 was when we lived in California. I found this super cute hoodie. It was like a gray hoodie, and it had these little birds on it. And I think Adley has it now. But it was the first thing that I ever bought for you. I thought it was adorable. We got it in Carlsbad. And I remember I just got a new camera too, my Canon 70D, and I took you down to the Bataquitos Trail in Carlsbad and took a bunch of pictures of you wearing this hoodie. And you're so little and cute, and I don't know, it was just the hoodie was adorable, you were adorable, the sun was going down, it was just a perfect evening. Well, I actually kind of have two. When we made homemade root beer and we were like sucking in the carbon monoxide and then learned that that can kill you because we didn't know it was carbon monoxide, that was a pretty funny memory I'll never forget. But the one I really wanted to talk about was, and this was recent too, a lot of my favorite memories are recent of us, but the night that you wanted a McFlurry so bad and I agreed to it, And we went to like 5 different McDonald's because every McDonald's like had some kind of like ice cream machine's broken, or oh, we don't do them this late, or whatever. 5th McDonald's, we finally got the McFlurry. I also got to fill you in on what a McFlurry is, and the kid knew what I was doing and was like, dude, I can make you a McFlurry, which was really cool. And then going over to my parents' house and like throwing bark at my mom's window and Garrett's window and waking them up at like 1 in the morning, and then kind of cruising around the neighborhood, showing you some spots that I was hitting regularly at your age. That was really fun. That made me feel young again, which is something I love about hanging out with you, is it kind of brings out that youthful energy that I don't get to bring out that often anymore. So yeah, that is 13 of my favorite memories with you. And just for the record, I really wanted this to be like this big video that I put a ton of time into and spent a ton of time editing, and like I said, I just procrastinated, so it's not gonna be what I wanted it to. But the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what, that's perfect, because you and I both procrastinate, and so, you know, maybe the fact that this isn't perfect and that it's procrastinated is kind of the beautiful thing about this video, because we share that in common.
No, yesterday, and I'm in love, and I don't know what else to say. Thank you, Lord.
Dude. I just found the world's largest cigarette. Light me up!
Oh my gosh.
Smell of the rain